Yeah, so hi everyone. It's so great to see so many people from all over the UK, not just Scotland. So that's brilliant. I'm just going to give a little bit more context about my work on the volunteer project and not really cover on anything else, mainly because I've got a bit of an announcement. So just concerning my work going forward, as some of you may know, I've been working for part-time for the BDS for between 2 and 3 days a week over the past 5 years across lots of different projects in Scotland. But I'm now going to be reducing my hours to just 1 day per week, purely to work on the volunteering project. And so that will be until next May. And that's just because I'm getting quite busy with Aquila Ecology, which is my own company. And I just don't want to find myself in a situation where I'm not meeting my commitments to the BDS. So my other work will be covered off, probably some of it by Danielle. Sorry about that, Danielle. And other people may be getting involved as well, and that will be sorted out over the next few weeks. So the volunteering project, I've spoken about it at a few different conferences now, but only sort of brief. So I thought I'd go into a bit more detail this time. So we were awarded the funding from Volunteer Impact Funders via a Scottish Government scheme back in November 2021. And I guess the thing I want to press upon everyone today is that it's not just a project that will benefit Scotland. You know, we're hoping it will benefit the other countries as well, England and Wales. And that the funding really has given us the opportunity, the means and the motivation to develop our volunteering across the 3 countries. So there are specific targets that we need to meet in Scotland under this funding. And I'll just go through some of those. So one of the things we said we would do is try and engage with groups sort of who identify as having poor mental health. So that means I've been in discussions with Mindspace, who are based in Perth, and also meeting with Plus Perth in a couple of weeks to see if we can get groups out to get engaged with some of our work on a voluntary basis. Also to develop volunteers into more responsible roles. And we would love to have a volunteer who would like to join the Board of Trustees, just so that we have a representative from Scotland, because that's something we're sort of lacking at the moment. Or it could be, you know, another area coordinator who could help support Pat, for example. As Jonathan said, she does a huge amount of work for us. We also have to provide support to our volunteers and show that we're developing the skills. There's a certain amount of events that we've said we will hold for volunteers. And we also need to organise a big thank you event before the end of the funding for our volunteers. So those are things that are ongoing and to come. So far, we are meeting most of these targets, but if anyone thinks they can help us with any of these, I would certainly like to hear from you. The other aspects of the project that applies across the board is things like the purchase on development of a contact relationship management database, or CRM for short, where we can store all of our volunteers and members' data and also interrogate that data so that we can do things like targeted mailings, recruitment drives, to manage events like the conference, for example, create forms and so much more. We've chosen Beacon, and we've been transferring membership data and asking you to provide your data if you're an existing volunteer over the past few months. The other aspect is that policies and procedures we are developing will be relevant in all countries and not just Scotland. And this will include important things like knowing who your main point of contact is, so you know where to go for advice and support, receiving recognition for your contributions, knowing what is expected of you when acting on behalf of the BDS, and having a role description for your volunteer duties, and being kept informed of volunteering opportunities. So the biggest question we've had to answer is, who are our volunteers? And you might think that's really obvious, but it really hasn't been. So there are many people across Scotland, England and Wales who are doing work for no money, which benefits dragonflies and their habitats. And that basically aligns with the objectives of the BDS. So some people will have been doing this and have a contact with the BDS, whether that's a member of staff, a trustee, or even another volunteer, like a county recorder, or maybe affiliated to a Dragonfly hotspot. So in my mind, that makes all of these people volunteers, but they might not currently be recognised as such. So if you are one of these people, I would definitely urge you to complete our online volunteer application form, and I'll put the QR code up for that over the lunch break. But there are probably many other people out there who are also doing similar work for dragonflies and their habitats, who we have no knowledge of, because maybe they're just doing it because they love dragonflies, or they just love natural history in general. So again, if you identify with one of these people, we would love to hear from you and to find out if we can support you in doing the work that you do, and whether you would like to register as a volunteer. So yeah, please be aware, if you are known by someone in the BDS and you have volunteered for us in the past, whether that's just by providing records or helping out at an event, that doesn't necessarily mean you are registered as a volunteer, sadly. So although someone may have your contact details, you won't currently be known to all BDS staff. So you could be missing out on opportunities and not receiving the recognition you deserve. So again, I would urge you to complete our application form so that we are aware of you. So what we are working towards is having a volunteer strategy in place, and this is currently in its early stages. As an organisation, we're asking ourselves lots of questions about our volunteers, i.e. who are they, what do they do for us, what could they do for us, where they currently are, where they are most needed, how we communicate with our volunteers, how we find them, and why we need volunteers and when. Once we have answers to all these questions, we will be able to take stock of where we are now, decide on where that is in relation to where we want to be, and then devise a roadmap of where we want, how to get to where we want to be. So where are we on that journey? So as I mentioned previously, we have been asking for existing volunteers and prospective new volunteers to complete the online application form, so that we have all of your details, and so that all those details are safe and secure in one place that could be accessed by staff and trustees. And this will be an ongoing process, and will help us to communicate milestones of the project to our volunteers over time. We have now established a working group of staff and trustees to start develop our strategy and to work on the nitty-gritty of agreeing policies and procedures, as well as defining the volunteer roles and clarifying our objectives in regards to volunteering work with the BDS. I've been devising forms and documents, such as the online application form, and have produced draft versions of a volunteer agreement, review forms, as well as in considering what needs to be included in a volunteer pack, induction pack, sorry. Then if anyone's got any ideas on that, I would love to hear from you. If you've seen examples from other organisations, it would be good to have your input with that going forward. Myself and other staff will be following up on all the applications we've received to date. I would just say please bear with us, because we've also been busy meeting other project deadlines recently. So there may be a bit of a lag until we get into the full swing of things. So you will hear from somebody. Working at two computers here, so there we go. So on the where do we want to be, obviously that's to be decided, because we haven't got our full strategy in place yet, but I have my own vision of my sort of volunteering paradise, and that is one where all of our volunteers feel that the BDS is a valuable charity to work for and represent, that they feel recognised and supported, that they feel a sense of personal fulfilment when volunteering for the BDS, that they make new friends and learn new skills when volunteering for us. And most of all, that they develop a strong and abiding love of dragonflies and their habitats. And that's all from me. Thank you.